All right, so we have this triangle here, okay? It wants us to find gamma, B, and C. Gamma is easy to find because there's 180 degrees in a triangle, and when you have two angles, it's easy to find the third. So in this case, 170 and 65 make 135, so we're left with 45 degrees. And now that we have 45 degrees, we can find C eventually, but let's find B. Okay, to find B, it's the law of sines, okay, because we have opposites. So the sine of 70 over 14.7 equals a sine of 65 over B. So if we cross multiply, B times sine of 70 equals 14.7 times sine of 65, or we just take this times this. Nope, we don't. We take this times this divided by this. There we go. 14.7 times sine of 65 divided by the sine of 70, which is 14.2. Then to find C, we also do law of sines. The sine of 70 over 14.7 equals the sine of 645 over C. So we take 14.7 times the sine of 45 divided by the sine of 70, and we get 11.1. Okay? Law of sines, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Okay. If we're given this, and you see that there's multiple things that it can be, that's when we start drawing multiple triangles. We draw an acute triangle. The angle that we're given, we put in the lower left. It's opposite. So the opposite of alpha is A. That goes 8.1 over there. And then we put B over here, which makes beta here, gamma here, and C here. Okay? Law of sines. The sine of 44.5 over 8.1 equals the sine of beta over 10.9. So it's 10.9 times the sine of 44.5 divided by 8.1. So we get a decimal equals the sine of B. So if we take the inverse sine of that, B or beta equals 70.6 degrees. So, and then we figure out what gamma is in this triangle. So we got 115.1. So that would give me 64.9. So that's all angles that'll work, right? So if those angles work, then you draw a second triangle where this is 44.5. And you take 180 minus 70.6, which is 109.4. And then add those together, which is 153.9, which is 26.1, or what? 26.1? Yeah. Okay. So all we have left to do in this first triangle is find what C is. So we take the sine of 44.5 over the 8.1 equals the sine of 64.9 over C. If you cross multiply and solve, figure out C. C equals 10.5. Which makes sense because if 70.6 is opposite of 10.9, 64.9 is close to that but a little smaller, so 10.5 is close to that, a little smaller. Then in this triangle, the sine of 44.5 over 8.1 equals a sine of 26.1 over c. So you go 8.1 times sine 26.1 divided by the sine of 44.5. What does c equal there? Should be fairly small. Should be, I don't know, 6 or smaller. Yep, you're correct. So 5.1 is here. 10.5 is here because the longer side of C, the shorter side of C. So 26.1 is this. 109.4 is this. 70.6 is B. And 64.9 goes here. Okay? So that's one of those. The lunar crater problem. Told you the lunar crater would be on the quiz. You draw your lunar crater problem like this, where this is A. Nope. A, B, BAC. So C must be up here. This is 111. BAC is. C is 56 meters away from A. And also ACB is 42. This, come on. Why? Get out of there. Get. All right. So this is 42. So we know the angle opposite what we want to know, but we have 56, so we need to know its opposite angle. So 111 and 42 make 153, so that makes 27 here. So that's just law of sines. The sine of 27 over its opposite side, 56, equals the sine of 42 over its opposite side of x. 56 times sine of 42 divided by the sine of 27 is more than 56. What is it? 82.5. Oh, 82.54. Make sure you round to the appropriate spot. Read the directions for the problem. Okay? All right. Then we have a couple law of cosines problems. Okay? The first one will be the little bit longer one, where we have 22.4, 15.2, 10.9. If A is the longest side, then let's find A first. Remember, alpha equals the inverse cosine, 2 parentheses, of A squared minus B squared minus C squared, parenthesis, close the parenthesis, open up a new parenthesis, negative 2 B C, and double set of parentheses. When we're looking for alpha, A is alone first. The other two sides are subtracted or squared and subtracted. Then those other two sides appear here also in the denominator. Okay, if you can remember that. So if you do the math, what is alpha? We have a couple people punching it in, but they didn't punch theirs in quite right. So they're going again. Anybody agree with 117.3? We got a yeah from the front row. Okay. Since we have verification on that, Are we good with 117.3? All right, so we got more uh-huhs. Now, to find angle beta, we could go back and use law of sines with that, or we'd use law of cosines, and all you have to do in your calculator is switch these two and make this one 22.4 instead of 15.2. So it's 15.2 squared minus 22.4 squared minus 10.9 squared divided by negative 2 times, oops, let's go like this. There we go. What do we get? 37.1. And if this is 37.1, these two add up to 154.4, which is 25.6. Okay? That's the law of cosines in reverse when you're finding angles. On this problem, we have angle side angle given to us. Okay? Or side angle side, I mean. Where we have 4.48, 29.4, 5.95. So if you're given side angle side, it's a straight law of cosines. So B is what we'd find first, and they tell you find B first. Okay? So B squared equals A squared plus C squared minus 2A C cosine of beta. And you're going to get a big number because you haven't taken the square root yet. You should get like 40 or 30 or something like that. Then you take the square root and you get a number that's a lot closer to those numbers. So did we get, take square, no, that one, that is not it. 4.48 squared plus 5.95 squared minus 2 times 4.48 times 5.95 times the cosine of 29.4. When you get that and then you take the square root, what do you get, Cody Klein? Oh, you mean you didn't do it? No, I did the last one. You were just kind of hanging out, just like taking up oxygen. What'd you get, Jesse?
3.
Around 3? Like 3.00?
Well, I got 9 on the first thing, and then I got 3.
Okay, so 3.0. Cody, you concur? Yeah. Yep. So that's 3. So then you go with the law of sines. Sine of 29.4 over 3 equals the sine of, I don't know, we want A next, alpha. So that's opposite of A, which is opposite the 4.48. So the sine of alpha over 4.48. So 4.48 times sine of 29.4 divided by 3. Then take the inverse sine of that answer. And that should give you alpha, which should be 47.1. And your other one should be over 100 degrees. Because 180 minus 29.4 minus 47.1 is 103.5. Okay, areas of triangles. In this triangle, I'm just going to go and name them off. Alpha, beta, gamma. Alpha is 37.4. B is 11.2. A is 14.6. Do we have side angle side? No, we got to get to side angle side so we can do this. I want gamma, but I can't just get gamma. I have to do law of sines to get there. So I'm going to say the sine of 37.4 divided by 14.6 equals the sine of beta over 11.2. If we take 11.2 times the sine is 37.4 divided by 14.6 and then take the inverse sine of the answer, we get 27.8. Well, 27.7706. Okay, which is basically 27.8. So if we take 180, well, let's just make it 27.8. So if we take 27.8 plus 37.4, that adds up to 65.2. Take 180 minus 65.2, 114.8. Okay, so that's the angle in the middle. So the area equals 1/2 the base times 14.6 times the sine of 114.8, which gives us the height. 1/2 the base times the height is the area. So if you multiply all those together, you're going to get over 100, right? Do you get over 100? No? You get 74.2? Okay. Okay, the last one is use Heron's formula. So S is equal to A plus B plus C all divided by 2. Then the area equals the square root of S times S minus A times S minus B times S minus C. So A plus B plus C, 15 plus 7 is 22, plus 9 is 31. So you get 31 over 2, which is 15.5. So it's the square root of 15.5 times 15.5 minus 15 is 0.5 times 15.5 minus 7 is 8.5 times 6.5. So 15.5 times 0.5 times 8.5 times 6.5, take the square root of that answer. Then in the end, what do you get? 20.7. Two of you got 20.7, so we're going to have to trust you guys. Okay? So, hey, I think that's that. Okay? So, take the sample test. If you tick me off, then you'll have homework problems. But you guys are smart enough not to tick me off because you're in trig class.